London Heathrow, host to 78 million passengers, nearly 500,000 flights, and one very unusual animal reception centre. Animals passing through Heathrow come here to be checked in.
Oh, you're so pretty.
Also known as the Ark, it's equipped to welcome almost any species through its doors.
I like the cheeky one, holding his hand out for more food.
From reptiles and livestock to pets and predators, it's up to the Ark to make sure everyone is cleared to enter the country.
That really is the tiniest one I've ever seen.
More than 200,000 animals passed through last year alone. And its dedicated team of over 40 staff are on hand every hour of every day.
We'll just get a vet out just to be safe.
And are always prepared to expect the unexpected.
Ah! Then she lost her hand.
Today on Animal Airport, the team turn detectives to identify an injured parrot.
Yeah, it's him. It's coming from his toe.
2 cats from down under tickle the staff.
I love it when we get interesting names come through. It does give us a good laugh.
And a little dog from China raises alarm bells.
If the vet has no record of when the chip was put in, then potentially the dog would need to go to quarantine.
Most visitors are in and out of Heathrow's Animal Reception Centre within a few hours. But just like human passengers, they can be held up in transit. Today in the loading bay, Deputy Manager Ross is dealing with a consignment of 50 parrots that's been delayed en route to the Caribbean.
Just give them all just a small little water top up for me, just a little bit because they'll be coming out soon. So we've had a call from one of the shippers. They've got a booking for some parrots heading off to Barbados, and unfortunately they can't go tomorrow as we were hoping. They can't go till the next day. So unfortunately, to leave these guys boxed up for 48 hours is far too long. And so what we're going to have to do today is we're going to have to release them all, feed and water the birds as well, and then we can rebox them ready for their flight to Barbados.
But with limited space available, Ross needs to figure out a way to accommodate them all.
Okay then, thanks a lot. So that was the exporter on the phone, and obviously because we've got quite a lot of birds, a lot of boxes, I haven't got enough room to house them individually. He's agreed for us to house them species specific, so like all the 4 boxes of African greys to go together, etc.
The birds have all passed the disease checks, so Supervisor Shannon doesn't have to wear a face mask while she works with them. Her first task is to figure out who can share and how many rooms are needed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know what you are though. King PR. Let's go with King Parrot and we'll ID it in a sec. Your African greys. Sure your rainbows. I keep finding that I'm going around in circles, double checking every bird. But yeah, we have to get it right. We have to know which species are going in, which room, and how many of each we've got as well.
Shannon identifies 7 species, so the team needs to turn 7 cat kennels into temporary bird enclosures.
Because you have to just think on your feet and you have to obviously do the best for the animals, it makes it good fun. And we don't see parrots coming in a lot, and we definitely don't have them stay overnight, so something a bit different.
Supervisor Anna is helping out. First up, fashioning some makeshift furniture.
It's not going. Do you want to give it a go?
Not really.
Should we stop?
Parrots' feet are designed for gripping to tree branches, not flat surfaces.
Look at that.
So the team provides perches to make them comfortable.
Is that are they gonna spin when they're on it?
As long as I've got a bit of
Doesn't
tension.
matter. Yeah.
The final finishing touches are the curtains.
We're putting this across the door with regards to the birds that they're going to be free inside the room. When we go in there for feeding, watering, or just to do some welfare checks, it will hopefully stop the birds from flying out of the door.
Rooms ready, it's time for the first bird to be released. An African grey parrot.
Hello. Hi. Come out. Hello. Hello. Oh, you're so cute.
African greys are highly intelligent, capable of mimicking speech.
Come on.
And this one's more of a talker than a walker.
You're going to have to come out somehow. You want to come out? Or do you want me to come and get you? Yeah.
Come on.
I'm going to come in then. Okay?
Come on.
Hello.
Anna and Shannon need to read the identification number on its leg ring so it can be returned to the correct travel box on departure.
Got it?
Right, okay, so it's this claw here, which will have the chip on it.
1185 HR5V.
Well done.
Good boy.
You can bite that, that's fine. Just not me. Right, here's a perch.
One down, just another 49 to go. Staff can adapt the reception centre to house almost any animal, but their most regular customers are cats and dogs, whose documents need to be checked to ensure they're disease-free.
Our day-to-day tends to be basically make sure there's no injuries to the animal, checking that this container is okay to come in and checking that they have water and food and things and that they're not too stressed.
In the loading bay, Animal Health Officer Stu has just arrived with a dog off an overnight flight from the Far East.
So we got little Maltese off of the flight this morning.
The flight time is around 13 hours, so Stu wants to let little Mao Mao out of her box as soon as possible.
Hello. Quite cute, isn't you? You can come out for me. Come on. Come on. There we go. What's this? Bit of water. Let me go get you some food.
Oh no, you've...
Come on, little one.
Waiting in reception are owners Fan and Lily from China.
We worked in Beijing before, and 3 months ago we relocated to London, but we need to prepare some paperwork so she can now come along with us.
The couple are worried because Mao Mao had a traumatic experience as a puppy.
When she was very young, she got hurt, and my wife bring her to the hospital. It has been a long process for the treatment, so sometimes she's afraid of stranger, and she's a very small dog, so we are excited and also anxious here.
But in the office, Supervisor Joe has noticed a problem with Mao Mao's microchip records.
Got all of the original paperwork here. They've put the date of chipping as the 10th of July 2018. As we're only in April 2018, then it can't have been chipped at that point. So we just need to verify when the chip was actually put in.
Microchips carry vital information about whether a dog has had the vaccinations needed to enter the UK.
The owner's stating it's the same day as the vaccination, which was the 10th of July 2017. So I think it is just a typographical error. But obviously this is the only paperwork that we have for the dog, so we need to make sure that the chip was there prior to the rabies vaccination being done.
China is a high-risk country for rabies, so Joe has to be particularly vigilant.
I've got an email address for the vet. I've sent them the form. If the vet has no record of when the chip was put in, we'd then have to speak to the management and potentially the dog would need to go to quarantine.
Quarantine would mean a 4-month stay in isolation to make sure she's not carrying the disease. Owners Fan and Lily can only hope Mao Mao's microchip paperwork checks out. "50 parrots on their way to Barbados are being released into temporary enclosures."
You okay in there? Hello? Hello? Oh.
You okay? You need to get him.
They're overnighting at the Ark as their flight has been delayed by 48 hours.
There's a good bird. No flying away again.
Supervisors Shannon and Anna must check every parrot's ring number
207.
to make sure they go back in the correct boxes. Next up, the galahs.
Kind of go in and try and just cut like.
I'll give it a whirl.
Do you want to go with them or do you want to go with just a towel?
I think I'll go with these. Alright. Coming in. I hadn't really had too much experience with parrots and things like that before, so that was one of the first times that I've been completely hands-on with restraining them. So it was a big learning curve for me. Mind your head. Okay, I've got my fingers under that one. He's not good.
Not the end of the world, not the end of the world. Not helping the situation.
He was happy.
When's that?
It's not that bad.
These are your galah parrots, which are common in Australia. I do believe they're kind of like their pigeons over there. Pretty pigeons. See, if London was full of these, that'd be lovely.
Over 40 birds are waiting to be released, so Animal Health Officer Heather helps with the eclectus parrots.
Excuse me, all your pretty feathers are in the way.
Covered in poo.
That's what I found out. Poo below your leg. They're super pretty, aren't they?
Male eclectus parrots are bright green, while the females are ruby red. They look so dissimilar that for many years scientists mistook them for different species.
Come over. I don't want to chase you around, Pat.
That's it. Stay there.
So far, so good. But in the African grey enclosure, Heather's spotted something concerning.
So there's blood sort of dripping down the window. It's quite a substantial amount. It's all over the windows.
The team must act quickly to single out the injured bird. But with 7 practically identical parrots in the room, it's not going to be easy.
The only problem we have now is obviously when I put this one down, how are we going to know?
No, which one?
Yeah.
I think we should look at ones that we're concerned about. So
this one's fluffed up. That's obviously not a good sign.
This one I think hasn't done much, and then maybe possibly this one. These two are the ones you've just done. This one's eating happily. That one's been very quiet. Yeah, it's him. Oh, it's coming from his toe. It's his toe. Yeah. His toe, bad.
Woo! We found the bleeding one.
It's him.
Yeah.
Finally, they find the wounded bird.
Yeah, it's his toe. It's that one. This one's broken his nail, and his quick is showing, so it's bleeding quite a lot. So we're just cleaning it with some Hibby scrub at the moment, and then we'll hopefully use a quick pen and just stop it from bleeding.
That looks better than what it did.
With the injured parrot treated, the team can finish releasing the rest of the flock.
It's been very eventful. I think we've been doing this for quite a few hours now. They've all been released. It has been really good fun releasing them all. We do enjoy this sort of stuff. That's what we're here for at the end of the day.
Oh, exciting! New friends!
Hopefully they'll settle down sometime soon.
But the parrot process isn't over yet. They'll all have to be boxed back up again before their flight tomorrow. The Animal Reception Centre staff have to flag up any issues they come across. And an error in little Mao Mao's paperwork means that Supervisor Jo can't be sure she's disease-free. She's contacted Mao Mao's vets in China to see if they can clear up the confusion. If not, Mao Mao will be off to quarantine.
The vet should keep records, so for every animal that they do anything to, they should have a record on their system of what they've done and when. So in theory, they'll have everything on their system, and to be fair, China they document everything.
There's a 7-hour time difference between Beijing and London. It's an added complication.
If something fails from China in our afternoon, it's the middle of the night, and then so it's constant time gaps that you have to kind of work with. But luckily, in a way, it's failed this morning and China are still awake, so hopefully we'll get it sorted.
In reception, owners Fan and Lily are worried how the extra delay might affect Mao Mao.
We are afraid the people cannot take care of her. So you can see she's anxious, so we are waiting for the reply from our vet.
Unfortunately, the news from China is what everybody's hoping for.
So now the vet has confirmed that the microchip was there when Mao Mao was vaccinated. That validates all of the paperwork, so the dog's now eligible to enter the country.
Mao Mao can finally be released to her owners.
You're tiny. Hey, Mao Mao. Hi. You're going home. Hello to Mao Mao. Who's that? Let me just grab the box for you now as well, okay?
It's time for Mao Mao to start her new life in the UK. Many of the animals that pass through the reception centre are pets moving from country to country with their owners. Waiting to collect their 2 cats off a flight from Sydney, Australia, are Mike and Ali, who are relocating to the UK.
Absolutely standard domestic moggies. We've had them about 3 or 4 years. They were rescued from a farm in Australia where they were found roaming.
They may be common cats, but their names are anything but.
Popcorn and Twiglet.
She's the colour of Twiglets, and Popcorn is a ginger tabby, so she's the colour of unpopped popcorn. They don't really know what Twiglets are in Australia, so we've had to explain they are snack-based names.
In the cat wing, Animal Health Officer Zara needs to get the cats out of their boxes. It's a chance for them to stretch their legs and eat while their medical records are verified.
I love it when we get interesting names come through. It does give us a good laugh.
Zara starts with Popcorn.
Oh, bless him. Oh, you're quite loud, aren't you? It's a very, very vocal little cat. I find that the more vocal the cat is, the friendlier it is, as long as it's nice, as long as it sounds nice and it's not hissing. So when I release a cat, we like to do minimal contact. So I'll try and just leave the door open, see if it'll come out on its own accord, give it a few minutes, and usually they do sort of wander out.
They're very, very strongly bonded sisters. Twiglet is the dominant of the two, and I would say Poppy is the more timid. So I always think of Twiggy as saying, come on sis, I'll look after you. So I'm hoping she's been doing that through the journey.
But it looks like Twiglet is the more nervous traveller.
I have a feeling he's not going to come out without me picking him up though. Come on then, you can do it.
So Zara's having to get hands-on.
Some of them just get very nervous about coming out of the box and they just need a bit of a helping hand. But once they're out, you can see they're absolutely fine. And hopefully she'll start eating in a minute. She'll probably hear her friend next door, which is help.
With all their paperwork checking out, it's time for Twiglet and Popcorn to be reunited with Mike and Ali.
Oh, it's had such a long journey.
And 2 months later, the siblings are enjoying their new home in the Cotswolds.
We'd brought a lot of their bedding and things like that with us. In fact, they had a suitcase of their own. Yeah, there were familiar things around them. They have settled in brilliantly. Touch wood to this point, there's been no problems. They've eaten their food and they seem to have adapted to it with very little trouble at all.
After their stay, Supervisor Chris needs to get all 50 parrots back in their boxes, ready for their flight to Barbados.
Boxes have been cleaned, so water, seed, fruit and veg, or fruit and cucumber basically for their journey. The rough plan is get them as quick as you can and get them in the box. That way it minimises the stress, which they're quite susceptible to.
Supervisor Shannon is back on shift to help out.
We'll bring a couple of boxes in then.
Yeah.
We'll start from there, yeah?
Yeah, you might as well take that trolley.
They begin with the smallest first, the budgies.
Hi guys.
One of the most popular parrots to be kept as pets.
So we're taking the perches out. That will give us more room to manoeuvre. We'll take the water out, the fruit out. This guy's just eating for England, bless him.
But getting birds back in the boxes isn't any easier than getting them out.
Oh, we got escapee, we got an escapee.
Oh, we've got 2 escapees. It's all right. What's in the magic bag?
Yeah.
Oh.
After nearly 2 hours, Chris and Shannon have managed to catch 43 parrots.
Yeah, another successful box up.
Just the 7 African greys left to do.
Cross my fingers, we're not going to have too much trouble with them.
But despite their efforts, the parrots are more interested in sitting on the staff than going in the boxes.
Go, go, go. Fly. Fly. No, not to me.
No matter what they do, the parrots won't sit anywhere else.
This one kept sitting on me yesterday. Yeah, he kept sitting on my head and sitting on my shoulder. He seems the friendliest out of all of them, to be fair.
As they start to box them up, Shannon's still a little concerned about the parrot with the bleeding claw.
That's the one that hurt his front claw yesterday.
Holding it up.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
So maybe we give him a little check over before we put him in his box. Oh.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, mate, if that was a no. No. Oh.
Yeah, come out. Knock him. Oh.
Fortunately, the injured foot is in good shape, so the team can finish boxing the rest.
No one's heads, please.
Last but not least, Shannon's favourite.
I don't really want to catch him though, because I feel like he's friends with everyone. Don't really want him to hate us. Good night, Chris. He's really sweet. Yeah.
Well done, guys.
Smashed it.
It's been a long shift, but Chris can finally relax.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the way it went. Coffee? Yes.
Aussie cats Twiglet and Popcorn are still loving their Cotswold garden. Little Mao Mao made it safely on her way. And the parrots took off on their flight to Barbados without a hitch.